Hey, this is Evil Manny, and apparently there's going to be a bunch of Christmas music on this episode. Cue the music.
Hey, this is UFO report number 72, and apparently Evil Manny just does not appreciate some good Christmas music, holiday spirit music.
No, I don't.
Listen, Evil Manny, first of all, I didn't invite you to get on the podcast.
You don't have to. I do what I want.
Anyway, hopefully he'll be leaving soon because this is crazy. Anyway, I want to remind you folks that UFO Buster Radio's 2017 Rubber Dickies is going to be coming to an end shortly. And I just want to go over exactly who we have in the top 3 right now. So, tied for number 1, first place, Jaime Maussan and Tom DeLonge, whatever the fuck his name is, that guy. In second place, we have Stan, the Rubber Dicking Romanek. He is in spot number 2. And in third place, we have MUFON.
Boy, I really wish that Romanek would just come visit me. I've got something for him.
Yeah, Evil Manny, I'm pretty sure you've got a lot of things for him and things he probably doesn't even want. So, hey, it is what it is. But if you want to put Stan in number 1, or maybe you think MUFON is out of control because of the secret space program BS they pulled recently, you can go in up until the 15th and vote for your top 3 choices for 2017 Rubber Dicker of the Year. And I just want to say that honorable mention right now in 4th place is Igor Asherbelly. So you guys, you pick your poison, but you've only got, about 16 days left to put your vote in and move your favorite Rubber Dicker into the number 1 spot so that we can get an award out to them before the end of the year. Because it takes about a week for me to get the award, already set up and engraved, because we want to make sure it looks real nice. That way, once in a while, when they pass that mantle and they glance at that award, they'll go back, they'll shine it, they'll turn it sideways, shine it up real nice, and stick it up their candy ass. Because they're rubber dickers. And that's probably what they're gonna do. On a side note, I just want to remind everyone that next week, there will be 2 contributors, 2 members of UBR Truth Seekers that will also receive awards for top contributors as part of the 2017 Rubber Dickies extravaganza. So you don't want to miss that. You might want to get on UBR Truth Seekers to be there for the moment when that announcement is made. The actual awards will arrive here on Monday, and I will shine them nicely, turn them sideways, and just show them on video because there's nothing going up any candy asses around here. But anyway, let's get to the stories. And I want to say this much. The stories today were brought to you by the one and only Ronnie Dawson. Ronnie has been out there doing some searching, getting some stories together, and he presented them in UBR Truth Seekers. So I'm bringing them to you so that way you guys can enjoy it just as much as I did, because Lord have mercy, some of these people just will not quit. They won't. But the first story is not about a person, it's about a place in a different country. The title of this article is "The New University Class Claims Alien Conspiracy Theories Are Real. Government is Covering Up Extraterrestrial Civilizations." The article was actually published in several places, but this one is from Newsweek. You would think Newsweek is a trusted source here in the US, and maybe abroad they read it as well, right before they put it in the bird cages. It turns out a Turkish university is including a new course called Ufology and Exopolitics in its curriculum. The Dogan News Agency reported that the purpose of the class is to prepare students for the possibility of extraterrestrial contact. The professor for this course is Dr. Stephen Greer. I'm just kidding. No, it's not Greer. But it sounds like something he would do. Him and Stephen Bassett. I mean, this exopolitics, that's all Bassett stuff, right? And where the hell is Bassett? I haven't heard about Bassett in forever. What is he up to? The stuff fell apart with the election and Bassett just disappeared. Just like Podesta. But anyway, the truth is here that it's not Stephen Greer and it's not Stephen Bassett, but these guys together probably could put together one hell of a course for these people in Turkey. According to a quote by one of their representatives, it says that we believe representatives from the world and extraterrestrial civilizations will soon be making official contact with each other. We think there will be an open and mass contact. According to the class tutor, Erhan Kolbaşi told the Dogan Agency it will be the biggest change seen in the history of the world. Well, tutor Kolbaşi, I guess that's code name for professor. I don't know. But, people have been saying this for a long time, way before the Turkish people got on board and decided to put a class together. I mean, like I said, we should send over Stephen Bassett and Stephen Greer. It could be the Stephen duel. And they can lip sync all of the cabal exopolitics nonsense they can to the Turkish people. But anyway, that's what's happening in Turkey. We've got a university you can go to. Maybe they'll take exchange students. Maybe we can send somebody in place of one of you if you're interested in taking this course. I'm sure we can work it out. The Turkish people are really nice. I think they would love an American over there or someone from the UK or Australia or China or Japan. Hell, at the rate that the military is defecting from North Korea, we could probably use them as part of an exchange program to go over there and basically take the class and come back and report to us what's going down. So anyway, the course will focus on not just the practical preparation for galactic diplomacy, but apparently it is also going to talk about the history of cover-ups related to alien contact, because I guess in Turkey, they got the skinny on everything. They know it all. They know who the rubber dickers are and which ones aren't. I really had no idea that Turkey was so up on this ufology, alien, exopolitics thing, so much so that they have a class on it. But what's funny about this is that they apparently are going to really focus on things like MJ-12. According to them, it was groups like this within the government of the United States that pretty much held information from the public. The link for the article is in the description. You can read it. It goes into this whole thing about their perspective on MJ-12. If you want to read it, check it out. It's a nice read. It'll bring you back memory lane when it comes to MJ-12, and you might have some questions exactly what the hell this class is going to be like. I'm thinking they should at least put this out on YouTube so that we can see what's really going to go down. But I think most of you are going to pass on the class because I think it's kind of weird to have someone from another country put a class together about stuff that's happening here or happened here back in the day in the US. What's their point of reference? Where would they get the information from? That's weird. I mean, maybe Bassett and Greer are part of this in some weird way. Hey, this is Manny Moonraker with UFO Buster Radio. I want to tell you about a podcast I think you guys would absolutely love. It is the Physical Attraction Podcast, and it tries to explain physics one chat-up line at a time, from the laws of nature to the end of the world. You can find the show on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. In addition, they're on social media, so don't forget to follow them on Twitter at PhysicsPod.
Oh, this next story is going to be great. I wish this guy would have retired over to my neck of the woods where it's really hot.
Yeah, Evil Manny, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I don't understand why this rubber dicker is back. I don't know why he came back to begin with, but now he's talking a lot of shit. And it's sad. It's sad what he's doing just to get publicity. The madness of this. It's crazy. It's almost hard to talk about. But the title for this story is Are We Alone? Could NASA be forced in court to admit aliens exist? And it was covered up. Just that alone is nonsense, right? Who's going to be able to sue NASA to admit to aliens? And what makes you think that they're not just going to say, yes, there's microbial life in outer space. There's your aliens, you four-eyed rubber dicker. So it turns out that one of our favorite rubber dickers from back in the day that made this big announcement that he was retired. He was packing up the kids and the family. He was moving into the desert. He was going off the grid. The website UFO Sightings Daily was going to shut down and no one would ever see him again. And I was so happy at the time that I wrote an article about it. And, I spread the words. Hooray, hooray, the king is dead. But no, that was premature because a few months after that, he came back. Now, he's been a little quiet. He's not the same Scott C. Waring that took off. He tried to keep things on the low, it appeared like. But apparently, he's got a beef. He's got a beef now. Scott C. Waring thinks that NASA is trying to attack him, and specifically attack his website, because he apparently is a big mouth. He's a big shot. He's got the big balls, and he's going around telling people that NASA knows that aliens exist. That was a lot. I hope you guys can digest all that information because I just had to get it out. It was too much for me. It was too much for me to see Scott C. Waring in the news again. So Mr. Big Balls pretty much threatened that he's going to sue NASA in order to get them to admit in a court of law that they know that aliens exist. So the article actually points out, and by the way, the link is in the description if you want to read some of this craziness. The article does point out that Mr. Big Balls, Scott C. Waring, is one of the theorists that really has a string of conspiracies that he is convinced are true. One of them being that aliens exist, but that they are actually living here on Earth, and they also are secretly working with the United States. So, Scott's not the only... Mr. Big Balls is not the only one that thinks that. We see that every other week, someone is saying that the government is working with ET. And in the article, apparently, Mr. Big Balls also coined a phrase from, no one other than the reptilian man, Stephen Greer, by stating that there is an apparent truth embargo, and that resulted through an agreement made between the United States officials and the ETs from 4.24. He went on to say that repeatedly his website, UFOsightingsdaily.com, that NASA is aware aliens exist and that the organization is at the heart of the cover-up. It's not the military. It's not some kind of secret cabal. It is NASA that's hiding all the information regarding ET and contact with civilizations from 4.24. So if you want to visit UFO Sightings Daily, you can go on there because apparently in the blog he claimed that his website was always under attack by the United States and NASA. So he plans to, sue NASA. And there's a quote from him in the article, and it says, "I am really close to using the site to go to court, public versus NASA, in an international fight to see if I can force NASA into announcing the truth about aliens to the world. Honestly, I don't think NASA gives two shits about Mr. Big Balls, but because he really doesn't have anything. He's got a lot of pareidolia and that's about it. Nothing solid. So check out the link. Check out what his craziness is about, and if you feel lucky or if you feel like you're adventurous and you want to go out to 4.24 Neverland, go to UFO Sightings Daily, look up the blog and see what the heck this guy is talking about. Scott C. Waring, aka Mr. Big Balls, is swaying in the wind and his nuts are going to crack NASA one way or another. Well, this is episode number 72. I'm glad you guys were here to listen to my madness. It got a little crazy today, didn't it, Evil Manny?
It sure did. When do I get to do my part? Why is it that you never let me do a story?
Listen, it's the holidays. I don't think people want to listen to your craziness.
I disagree. Of course they do. I am Evil Manny.
Alright, well, what can I do? Yeah, maybe next week. Maybe next week you get to do a story. I think I just made a deal with the devil. Thank you for listening. Ciao.